Thanks, Margot. I'll have the PowerPoint slide on the screen, which will mean I can't see if any hands are raised or anything. But if anyone's got any questions or comments in between times, please, speak up. Take yourself on mute and speak up. Okay, so are we seeing that slideshow on the screen?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So thanks for joining me today. This is the mandatory training for 2020. And like a lot of training, we've had to improvise and things are constantly changing. But today I'd like to cover off the topics of incident and hazard reporting. And I think it's really important that we discuss this as a group because of your client incident reporting also coming on to Solve for the time being anyway. What notification requirements we have, what's been reported within the community business to date, what are our focus areas for 2020 as an organisation, and from the injury management perspective, the staff physiotherapy and the early intervention program. So Solve Safety, we've restructured Solve so that all the coordinators can actually receive notifications from incidents or hazards from their clients. On top of that, the client incident form, Paul's been working hard with Anita so that we can record client incidents on Solve as well. So we're continually changing Solve to better meet the business needs. But just from a safety perspective, if we can proactively report any hazards and incidents. And I guess sometimes what we've seen of late, and it is across just a few particular employees, if they just sort of notice something whilst they're out, it's being recorded on Solve, well, we don't really need that. We only need things that are going to affect the health and safety of ourselves or our clients. So if you do receive any notifications through Solve that you don't consider incidents or hazards, just please let myself or Paul know and we can remove them for you. So hopefully all the home support workers have the Solve app on their phone, and if they don't, does everyone in this group, or is there anyone that doesn't know how to provide a home support worker with access to Solve? Okay, great. So we want to do that because we want to reduce the likelihood of someone else getting hurt. We want to provide early intervention and support really for any treatment and their recovery, and also analysing the data at the end of the year. So I've just come from a Kalara Work Health and Safety meeting where we've looked at the data for 2020 on all the incidents and hazards that have been reported. We can then see how we're going against our objective to reduce incidents and hazards in certain areas, and set our strategic direction for next year. And all of that means nothing if we don't actually capture the data on Solve. So I encourage everyone to report those. Now, I'm just going to give a little bit of a reminder about obligations we have as an organisation. So Safe Work SA need to be advised if what they call a notifiable incident occurs, and we need to advise Safe Work SA within 48 hours. So if the following incidents occurs to any person, whether it be a staff member of Kalara, a contractor, or just someone in our facility or our office at the time, if you can let Melanie know, and she'll certainly let me know. A notifiable incident is a fatality, a serious injury or illness, and a dangerous incident that has the potential to cause fatality or a serious injury or illness. During 2020, that's to August, so I haven't updated whether to do the December figures yet, but it doesn't actually change much, and it's probably not of a big surprise to everybody that the manual tasks involving a client and the manual tasks involving equipment are really the two main areas. In addition, the slip trip falls are a bit of a concern. We've had slip trip falls both within the community part of the business and also residential care. And it's something that us as a Work Health and Safety Committee want to try and do some improvements on for next year. Now, what those improvements will look like, I don't know, but the reason the slip trip falls is such a high priority is that the consequences of a slip fall are really quite significant, and often breaking in, fractured bones, etc. So we really need to have a look at that. I've got MVA there, but really these are incidents reported whilst driving. During the last 2 months, we've had 5 incidents reported about driving across Kalara. Given that's probably one of the highest risks for the home support workers, we'll put out some staff comms about the driving. And I mean, we've all got a licence. We understand the speed limits. We understand a lot of the things to keep us safe on the roads. But we just want to send staff a reminder on that as well. The hazards reported. People have reported manual task hazards, but only really not very many at all when you consider the amount of hazards that have been reported. So I'm sure that you'll tell your home support workers all the time that, as needs change, just to make sure that their client file's updated with what those manual task requirements are. We've had some slip trip fall hazards, which has been good at client houses, and just general client environment, if that's posing a risk to the staff, that's being reported as well. So the focus areas for 2020 are aligning the safety system with business as usual. I think somehow that sort of flipped and we're aligning business as usual with the safety system. But whatever makes it easiest for us to do our jobs as a whole is really what we're trying to do there. We want to improve the quality of the incident reports and obviously those manual tasks involving residents, equipment and challenging behaviours. So at the start of 2020, we didn't know there was a pandemic coming and we didn't know that training and everything else would probably be affected. And there's additional requirements of the mask wearing and I think a general concern regarding the pandemic. I say that not as an excuse, but I guess just to note that quite possibly it's affecting the performance of safety. As you can see on the graph there, the purple line up the top there, that's how we performed in 2019. And so in 2020, we were aiming for a 10% reduction in regards to people getting hurt at work. We're not going to quite make it this year. But I guess it's important to note that not all areas of the business receive their manual task training. The columns down the bottom, they indicate the number of people that have actually been injured whilst at work. And the greeny, yucky colour is 2020. And that's been our performance to date. So just a bit of a reminder about the staff physiotherapy services, specifically at Belair. The staff physiotherapist is there if you need a ergonomic assessment or if you're just not quite comfortable in your office and you want some help there from a physio. they can do those type of assessments as well. And that covers up to 3 physiotherapy treatment visits. Obviously, if there's vacancies there, more visits can be had, and it's for work and personal injuries. If someone does need an extension on that, just talk to Melanie about that. So the early intervention program, we've just received the results of the staff survey that was sent out recently, and overwhelmingly the early intervention program was really appreciated by staff and was utilised really well. So it's for work-related injuries, and it covers those things listed on your screen. An extension can be sought by talking to myself or Melanie. But I guess one of the things we all need to be mindful of is that with the early intervention program, we have got set criteria to enable it to be managed. But if things continue, if an injury continues past that, really a workers' compensation claim needs to be lodged. A workers' compensation claim can be lodged from day one. There's certainly nothing wrong with doing that. And we move on to the employee assistance program. I'll refer back to our meeting this morning again. We looked at some data on COVID claims received across Australia. And quite interestingly, 1/3 of all the claims received were actually in regards to mental harm or mental health issues associated with COVID. So the employee access program it's a really good vehicle to, try and get that anxiety and concern under control. If you do need any more than the 3 sessions, once again, speak to Melanie or Margot about that. So at the end of the day, we're all here for the same thing. We all want to keep each other safe. We want to keep our clients and our residents safe. So by doing that, we can do that within a 24-hour lodgement of an incident or hazard would be good. Be vigilant with your client's equipment and the environment. If there is a hazard, we encourage open communication about that. People shouldn't be too shy or scared to report a hazard, because ultimately it's going to lead to a safer way of doing things. The manual task techniques, they're just so important that we keep reminding each other on how to do those manual tasks to reduce the risk of any injury. And if someone is injured at work and they do need the support of their colleagues, it's really important that we do provide them with that support to help them with their recovery and return to work. So their colleagues are the people that probably, work with them the most. So yeah, if we can support them in that, I think that's a good idea. So now we've got, if there's any questions, it was just a short, sharp, shiny overview of safety. And do we have any questions about the presentation or any other safety concerns? That must be why community figures are looking so good. All right, well, you know where I am. If you need help with anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll leave it with you.
Thanks, Joy.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, Joy.
Bye.